In 2007, a simple, relatable frustration sparked a billion-dollar idea. A young MIT student, Drew Houston, was on a bus from Boston to New York, planning to get some work done. He opened his bag and his heart sank. He'd left his USB drive at home. In that moment of annoyance, an idea took root. What if your files weren't tied to a single device? What if they could just live in the cloud, accessible from anywhere? This wasn't just about convenience. It was about creating a seamless digital life. This is the story of how that simple frustration turned Drew Houston into the founder of Dropbox and a self-made billionaire. Born in Acton, Massachusetts, Drew was a tinkerer from a young age. His fascination with computers started early. While other kids were playing outside, Drew was often found in front of a screen, not just playing games but trying to understand how they worked. He started programming in the early 90s, and by high school, he was already beta testing new software and finding security bugs for companies. It was clear he had a natural talent for seeing how systems worked and, more importantly, how they could be broken or improved. This early experience in spotting vulnerabilities would prove invaluable later on. He wasn't just a coder. He was a problem solver. His parents supported his passion, recognizing that his curiosity was a driving force. This foundation of technical skill and a relentless desire to fix things was setting the stage for his future success. Drew's path led him to one of the most prestigious technical universities in the world, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT. Here, he was surrounded by some of the brightest minds of his generation. The environment was intense, competitive, but also incredibly collaborative. At MIT, he wasn't just learning computer science. He was immersed in a culture of innovation. He joined a fraternity where he met future collaborators and learned the social dynamics of building a team. It was at MIT that he launched his first real venture, an online SAT prep company. While it didn't make him a millionaire, it was a crucial learning experience. He learned about marketing, about sales, and about the harsh realities of running a business. He learned that a great product wasn't enough. You had to know how to get it into people's hands. This early entrepreneurial attempt, though modest, was his real-world MBA. After graduating, Drew, like many of his peers, was drawn to the magnetic pull of Silicon Valley. He worked at a few startups, gaining more experience, but the memory of that bus ride and the forgotten USB drive never left him. He kept thinking about the problem. Existing solutions were clunky, unreliable, and complicated. He envisioned something simple, something that just worked. So he started coding. He poured his energy into creating a prototype, a basic version of his vision. He knew he had something special, but he also knew he couldn't do it alone. He needed a co-founder, and he needed funding. This led him to Combinator, the legendary startup accelerator that had launched companies like Airbnb and Reddit. The application deadline was looming, and Drew had a major problem. Combinator insisted on teams, not solo founders. Paul Graham, the head of YC, told him he needed a partner. So Drew made a short, simple demo video showcasing his prototype. He wasn't a showman, but his passion for the product was undeniable. The video caught the eye of another brilliant MIT student, Arash Ferdowsi. Arash was so impressed that he decided to drop out of MIT just 2 weeks before graduation to join Drew. It was a massive leap of faith, but he saw the potential. With Arash on board, they were accepted into Y Combinator. Their journey had officially begun. The early days of Dropbox were a frantic whirlwind of coding and caffeine. Working out of a small apartment, Drew and Arash were obsessed with one thing: building a product that people would love. They focused on simplicity. The magic of Dropbox was its sync folder. You drop a file in, and it appears on all your other devices. No complicated settings, no confusing interface. It was seamless. But they faced a huge challenge. How do you explain a product that people don't even know they need? Their initial attempts at traditional online advertising were a disaster. They were burning through their seed money with little to show for it. They needed a breakthrough. The breakthrough came from a moment of marketing genius. Instead of telling people what Dropbox did, they decided to show them. Drew created another demo video, this time for a wider audience on the tech news site, Dig. The video was filled with inside jokes and references that the tech-savvy community would love. It was authentic, funny, and most importantly, it clearly demonstrated the product's value. The video went viral overnight. Their beta sign-up list exploded from 5,000 people to 75,000 people. They had found their audience. This taught Drew a critical lesson. Marketing isn't about spending the most money. It's about understanding your customer and speaking their language. They then implemented a referral program, rewarding users with extra storage for inviting friends. This turned their user base into a powerful, self-sustaining marketing engine. With explosive growth came new, bigger challenges. They needed more server space, more engineers, and more money. This led them to the world of venture capital. But they hit a surprising roadblock. Many seasoned investors didn't get it. They'd say, "We already have file storage solutions," or "Why can't people just email files to themselves?" They failed to see the elegance and simplicity that made Dropbox so revolutionary. But Drew and Arish were relentless. They believed in their vision. Their persistence paid off when they secured funding from Sequoia Capital, one of the most respected venture capital firms in the Valley. This was a massive vote of confidence, not just in their product, but in their team. One of the most defining moments in Dropbox's history came when Steve Jobs himself took notice. He invited Drew and Arish to a meeting at Apple's headquarters. Jobs saw Dropbox not as a partner, but as a feature that should belong to Apple. He made them an offer to acquire the company. For any young entrepreneur, being courted by Steve Jobs is the stuff of legend. It would have been easy to say yes, to take the money and celebrate a quick victory. But Drew Houston did something incredibly brave. He said no. He told Steve Jobs that he didn't want to sell. He wanted to build a great, lasting company. He wanted to see his vision through to the end. It was a risky, audacious move, but it showed the world that Drew wasn't just looking for a quick exit. He was building an empire. Saying no to Steve Jobs lit a fire under Apple. They soon launched their own competing service, iCloud. Suddenly, Dropbox wasn't just a clever startup. It was competing directly with one of the biggest and most powerful companies in the world. Google and Microsoft followed with their own cloud storage products. The cloud wars had begun. Many predicted Dropbox would be crushed. How could a small company possibly survive against these tech titans? But Drew had a secret weapon, his relentless focus on the user experience. While competitors' products were often just one small feature in a vast ecosystem, Dropbox was everything to Drew and his team. They obsessed over every detail, every pixel, every millisecond of loading time. They focused on being the best at one thing: simple, reliable file sync. This dedication to their core mission allowed them to not only survive, but thrive, continuing to grow their loyal user base even with giants breathing down their neck. In 2018, 11 years after that fateful bus ride, Dropbox went public. The company was valued at over $9 billion on its first day of trading. Drew Houston, the kid who loved tinkering with computers, was officially a billionaire. But his story isn't just about financial success. It's a testament to the power of solving a simple problem. It's about having the courage to turn down a legend to follow your own path. It's about understanding that the best marketing is a product that people love to use and share. Drew Houston saw a future where our digital lives weren't chained to physical devices. He built that future file by file, and in doing so, changed the way we all work and live. His journey from a frustrated student to a tech mogul is a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest ideas start with the smallest frustrations.